Mo Salah just broke the internet with the video he uploaded on his social media on Tuesday, announcing that he will be leaving Liverpool at the end of the season after 9 years at the club.
Hello everyone. Unfortunately, the day has come. This is the first part of my farewell. I will be leaving Liverpool at the end of this season.
When the Egypt international joined the Reds for a club record fee back in 2017, he was labelled a Premier League flop, but he went on to establish himself as a true legend of the game and one of the greatest players to have ever graced the Premier League. To celebrate this legend saying goodbye to Anfield, we want to look back at some of his most iconic games for the Merseyside club. These are Mohamed Salah's 10 most memorable games in a Liverpool shirt.
Hey Goal 90 family, what's good? The World Cup season is here and you already know the vibes on this channel. So for everyone who's been rocking with us, Goal 90 Shop has World Cup jerseys for the whole squad. Men, women and kids. Whatever country you're repping, we've got ya. Home kits, away kits, clean classics and the loud ones. Instant match day energy. And it's love from us. Free shipping worldwide. Grab yours now and let's run this tournament together.
We have to start from the very beginning, the game which started it all, his official debut against Watford on the 12th of August 2017. After having become the first Egyptian in Liverpool's entire history, Salah made his debut on the first match day of the 2017-18 season and he scored in a 3-3 draw. Little did he know that that would be the first of literally hundreds of goals he would go on to score for Liverpool. We're pretty sure that game holds a special place in his heart as it was the beginning of something really beautiful. Speaking of beauties, the goal he scored against Manchester City back in October 2021 was exactly that. The brilliance of the goal, the stakes of the match, the timing and the opponents made it a very special moment for the Egyptian. That goal gave the Reds the lead in the 76th minute of that game and we're sure everyone thought it was going to be the winner, but Kevin De Bruyne would go on to equalise 5 minutes later. The goal might not have secured a win, but it is one that fans will always remember fondly. Even Salah himself selected it as one of his favourite goals in a Liverpool shirt, and you can definitely understand why. But of all his goals, the one which actually earned him an award for Goal of the Year was the one he scored in the Merseyside derby back on the 10th of December 2017. Salah picked the ball up right on the edge of the box, shook off a couple Everton players and found the top corner with a beautiful curler. That goal opened the scoring in a fiercely contested derby and it went on to beat Cristiano Ronaldo's bicycle kick against Juventus, as well as Gareth Bale's overhead kick against Liverpool to win the FIFA Puskas Award in 2018. Of his many awards, we're sure that's one the former AS Roma star will cherish so much, not only because of the beauty of the goal, but also because of the opponents against whom it came. Anyway, speaking of AS Roma, when Salah went up against them in the Champions League back in 2018, he produced one of the greatest individual performances we have ever seen in the knockout stages of the competition. In that game, Salah put up a 5-star performance, scoring 2 goals and providing 2 assists to help the Reds to a 5-2 win at Anfield in the first leg of that semi-final. And his goal contributions were enough to see Liverpool through to the final of the competition for the first time in 11 years. Salah didn't celebrate any of those goals he scored as a show of respect to his former club, but boy were they special. But the Egyptian king didn't extend this much grace to all his former clubs. When he scored a banger against Chelsea in the 2018-19 season, he pulled out one of the most iconic celebrations we've ever seen in the Premier League. That goal was so good that it made Anfield go absolutely bonkers, but the celebration right after? Yeah, that made it an even more memorable moment. Scoring against a team that had previously rejected him was one thing, but then to pull out a top celebration like that right after, it just made it absolutely unforgettable. And since we're talking about unforgettable Salah celebrations, let's talk about one from last season. You see, the 2024-25 season will always be remembered as the greatest ever individual season from Mo Salah. He put up performances we had never seen before on a regular basis and broke records like no man's business. At some point, it became too easy for him that he started to just have fun with it. On the 27th of April 2025, Liverpool welcomed Spurs to Anfield knowing that if they went on to win that game, they would be Premier League champions for the second time in 5 years. So, the mood in the stadium that day was surely celebratory, and Salah made sure to join in on the fun. He scored in the 63rd minute, helping Liverpool to a comfortable 5-1 win, and he celebrated by taking a selfie with the fans. Now, that goal didn't only help confirm Liverpool as Premier League champions, it also moved Salah up to 5th in the list of all-time Premier League goal scorers, and first for non-English goal scorers in the league's history. The goal, the selfie, the title, and the records all came together to make this one of Salah's most memorable games in a Liverpool shirt. But a video like this would have been incomplete without a mention of a game against Man United. The rivalry between Liverpool and Manchester United is one of the fiercest in the country. So any goal a Liverpool man scores against the Red Devils will always be extra special. For Mo Salah, there are just so many to pick from, but perhaps the most memorable one is the game from the 24th of October 2024, when he scored a hat-trick at Old Trafford. In that game, Salah was involved in 4 of the 5 goals that were scored, bagging 3 himself and assisting 1. The hat-trick alone was special and memorable, but it broke a truckload of records, which made it even more unforgettable. That treble was the first by an opposition player at Old Trafford in 18 years, and it made Salah the first opposition player to score an Old Trafford hat-trick in Premier League history. Those goals also made Salah the first Liverpool player to score in 10 consecutive games, the first Liverpool player to score in 3 straight appearances at Old Trafford, and it made him surpass Drogba to become the highest scoring African in Premier League history. For way too many reasons, that particular game was very special, one neither Salah himself nor the Liverpool supporters will ever forget, and the man surely enjoyed playing against Man United because in 2023 he produced another truly iconic performance against the same opponents. Once again, he was spearheading an absolute trouncing of the Red Devils. This time the game ended 7-0, with Salah involved in 4 goals yet again. So much about that game was memorable. 2 goals and 2 assists against fierce rivals. His wonder strike for his first goal, the disorienting dribble on Lisandro Martinez to set up Liverpool's 3rd, the eventual emphatic scoreline, and then the records. Yes, plural. With his brace in that game, Salah became the first player to score against Man United in 5 consecutive games, became the highest scoring Egyptian in football history, and overtook Robbie Fowler to become Liverpool's all-time top scorer in Premier League history. To celebrate doing all of this against the club's bitter rivals, he took off his shirt after scoring the 2nd goal, and Trent went and made the moment that bit more beautiful and more memorable by crowning the Egyptian king right there on the pitch. For so many reasons, that's a moment Liverpool fans will just never forget. Now, this season might have been a little rough so far for both Salah and Liverpool, but the king has still produced some memorable moments in the current campaign. In the 4-0 demolition of Galatasaray in the round of 16 of the Champions League, Salah scored a goal and assisted another to send Liverpool to the quarter-finals of the competition. In the first leg of that game, he'd become the player with the most appearances for Liverpool in Champions League history, and with his goal in the second, he became the first African player to ever score 50 UEFA Champions League goals. We'll now wrap up with a very emotional one. On the opening day of the current season, Mo Salah scored a stoppage-time goal against Bournemouth to extend his record for most goals on Premier League opening day to 10. But what was truly special about that goal was how he celebrated. He had lost his teammate Diogo Jota over the summer, so he dedicated his first goal of the season to him, celebrating just the way Jota used to do. Then after the game, he stayed back and joined the fans as they sang Jota's chant while fighting back tears. That particular game is one that is just impossible to forget. Mohamed Salah really gave football so many special moments in a Liverpool shirt, too many to contain in a single YouTube video, so we want you now to get in the comments and keep it going. Share with us what your favourite Mo Salah game, goal, record or moment is. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. Also, turn on the bell notification so you never miss out on new content. Catch you in the next one. Bye.